Welcome to the March 19th Board of Education for Coventry Local Schools. Thank you guys so much for being here. Appreciate your time. I'd like to call this meeting to order.
Davis.
Yes.
Mr. Bowser.
Here.
Mr. Hostetler.
Here.
Here. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to
the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right, is there a motion to approve the meeting agenda?
Second.
Davis.
Yes.
Mr. Bowser.
Yes.
Mr. Hostetler.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from the February 19th meeting?
So moved. Second.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Mr. Bowser.
Yes.
Hostetler.
Yes.
Yes.
Mrs. McCall.
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to change the order of the district reports and our special guests just because I know some of them need to take off before we recognize them. But the first person I wanted to recognize and introduce to you is Deputy Mike here. School SRO. I think he's gotten off to a great start. I think joining an organization halfway through the year like this is a little bit tough because we're already running full speed and he's got to catch up to us. And, we forget that he hasn't been here the whole time. But he's come in, acclimated, I think, very well. It's multiple times a week that someone says to me, I'm glad we have Deputy Mike now because, and it's great stories and great reasons and in great ways that he's helped us. So I wanted to make sure we got him here this month to introduce him to all of you, and you'll see this familiar face. I'll tell you, he was walking down the hall and we all thought, oh, there's going to be an audience member this month. Outside of uniform.
And audience member.
So welcome there, Deputy Mike.
It's been a while. Thank you.
How's it been so far for you?
It's been good. Been busy. But yeah, we're doing good.
Put up to work fast.
What's that?
Sure
Put up
did.
to work fast.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
That's
You
great.
guys got them all the gear too, the hat, the t-shirt, or they make you buy that yourself?
Well, so I have my wife and my youngest here who he is very involved in Coventry sports. So I have, for the last 5 years, been pretty decked out in Coventry. Coventry here.
Good, good.
Well, thank you so much. We're so glad that you're here with us.
Thank you very much.
We've had a couple emails that are like, can I just tell you how awesome it is that he's here? So thank you very much.
Thank you. If you guys need to take off, that's fine.
Yeah, we're gonna get the grill.
He's mad it's sunny outside.
We're not as exciting as a nice thing.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
I do have a Coventry email, Coventry school email, so if anybody
Oh.
wants to reach out, I'm available that way.
Thank you.
No, thank you, guys. Nice meeting you.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow.
Next up, I wanted to invite Coach Clark to come up and join me here. I remember coming to Coventry 4 years ago and going to my first basketball game. And, kind of watching everybody, get ready at the beginning, and then the national anthem comes on. And I noticed that we had a coach that stood at strict attention during the national anthem. And I thought, well, these kids are in trouble. We have a veteran that works on the coaching staff. And then I went down and met him. And I thought, okay, he's not the heavy, because you saw that big smile. And over the years, I've seen how much he connects with our kids. I've been blessed to be a little closer to the basketball team these last couple of years. Got to see Coach Clark in action. Loved what they did with our kids this year. We had a great season, ups and downs. But I'll tell you, the biggest down for me was as the season was ending, the word got to me that Coach Clark is leaving us. His wife, due to her job, they have an opportunity to go to Texas. So our game against Marlington this year was his last game coaching Coventry students. And he's dedicated a lot of time and energy and hours of his life and time away from his family to do such great work for our kids. So I just wanted to give him a certificate of appreciation. Thank you for all you've done. Share a few words.
Told myself not to cry until tomorrow. Gosh, I've known Raj for years, 20+ years. We started coaching at Kimmel Youth Football when I first moved to Akron, and immediate instant connection, just his drive and his passion. Coaching, our future generation has been inspirational. He's made me feel a better father, mentor, and husband. Sorry. It's not gonna be the same. We live down the street from one another. I mean, just our paths have taken, the same way. Just trying to guide our future into men. It's more than a game which we preach about. It's, life lessons. We teach life lessons off the court. And I'm not gonna write a book on it, maybe better than Harry Potter trilogies. The sequel is about him. But it's just, when he first told me, when he told me he was moving and relocated, it didn't sink in until now. Until now at this moment. And tomorrow is just going to be a whirlwind of just emotions. But I've been blessed and privileged and honored to have known him. I told him I'm gonna pop out to Texas throughout the summertime to visit him. It's still surreal to me right now because he's still here present at this moment. But just the impact he's made in the 6 years we coached together. When I first, accepted the job and took over, he was my first call. We coached high school football together as well here. He was my right-hand man in the box in 2019, 2020. And I mean, I could go on and on, you guys, but I do thank all of you guys for the opportunity for myself and Coach Rod to be a part of Coventry. And, it's not going to be the same. There's going to be big shoes for the next varsity assistant to fill. But his honor and presence just, undeniable. Words can't explain just how much he means to myself, my family, and to our program. And it's been a blessing. To love you to death. He's a brother to me. And yeah, so sorry I got choked up. It's starting to really set in, and I gotta woosah a little bit. So gotta prepare myself for tomorrow. Tomorrow's a banquet. So yeah, I gotta compose myself a little bit. But thank you guys for recognizing them. It's been an honor and a privilege. I appreciate it.
It's been great there. Again, our journey started in youth football. I did 11 years, and then I got asked to go to Kenmore High School the last 2 years before they closed, before it was just Kenmore. Did the last 2 years, and then my wife got breast cancer, and then I took an absence for 2 years, and basically, being the supportive husband that I was supposed to be, and I did that. And then I went back for 1 year back to the youth to help because they were down in coaching. So I went back down there, and then the call comes, and it was more than one call because I was like, I was done. I didn't want to do it anymore. And then I get here, can't play basketball, and then all of a sudden want to coach football. And I'm like, I really didn't want to coach anymore, but I understand. And then just the journey of the kids here, even, staff and the parents, it's been great. I couldn't ask for the ending to a coaching career with this school here. So I am very happy and blessed, and thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
And they were they, I think, just came from, did you say a baseball game?
So, yeah, we have track practice, and I just went to the baseball game and had a fanatic with him the game here. I was like, I need your help with the mask, we gotta do some stuff. So that's how I was able to get this.
So I told them they could take off as they gotta get ready for a banquet tomorrow.
Very nice, coach.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Safe
Thank
travels while you're there.
Thank you, guys.
Good luck to you, coach.
I see you.
Aaron, Austin area, yeah, that's where I'm at.
Okay, that's a busy
Yeah.
place.
Such a good guy. And then to follow that up, to bring us home here will be the elementary school for their educational spotlight for the last time this year.
Yeah, I promise I won't be as long as our last spotlight. This was preemptively dismissing people just in case. We won't drag on today. I only have one guest. We haven't had too much going on since our last one in December. But I'm gonna invite Miss Bracco up first. She, if you were not aware, was named the Summit County Rookie Teacher of the Year, just about a month ago. So we're extremely lucky to have her. She has been absolutely amazing. This is her first year in our MD room, and she has just been such a proponent of full inclusion and getting those kids out and about. And the growth that they've made is unreal. Like from last year to this year, like one kid wouldn't even leave the room pretty much. And now he is going everywhere, walking, and it's just, it's astronomical. So I invited her to talk and highlight kind of what she does and the impact she has on these kids.
Oh, thank you. That was so nice of you. Well, as Mr. Savage said, my name is Kristen Bracco. This is my second year at Coventry, my second year teaching. So I was a kindergarten intervention specialist last year. I'm in the multiple disabilities room this year. And so Mr. Savage kind of asked me to talk about what inclusion is looking like for my students. Inclusion, I mean, I'm sure all of you have like a pretty good idea of what inclusion has started to look like, but for the most part, it looks like us integrating kids with IEPs as much as we can into a general education classroom with the respect of their least restrictive environment in mind. So always keeping their tolerance in mind. So for my kids, it looks a little different because of some of our tolerances are lower. So I just put two little quotes up here, and I promise I won't talk for a really long time. But I do have that inclusion works to the advantage of everyone. We all have something to learn and we all have something to teach. And that's a big one I feel like coming from my kids. Sometimes my kids being out is more of a learning opportunity for the peers around them than it is for my student at that time. Which has been, I think, really beneficial. I'll get into that a little bit later with one of my pictures. And then something else is just unity, not uniformity must be our aim. Again, we're not wanting, by including my kids or kids with disabilities, we're not wanting them to be like everybody else. We want to be a unified front, show each other, not have a guest host feeling in our classrooms. We want them all to be together and unified. So I do have, I felt like the best way to kind of show you some cool things that have been happening is just through some pictures. So I made a slideshow. I'm pretty partial to my children or my students, my students, because I think they're the best. I'll just give you a little synopsis of some of what's going on here. So this is my student, Luke. I had him last year as a kindergartner as well. If people saw him now and knew what he was at the end of last year, they would be like, oh my goodness, I can't believe it's the same child. He was an elopement risk at the end of last year. This year, this little tag says his name and it says, I'm working on independence. Miss Bracco / Miss Amanda, who is his aide, knows where I am. So he is now walking in the hallways by himself, going from place to place. He started his year in Mrs. Carr's first grade room for a little under an hour. He is now in there for over 4 hours a day. Academically not the lowest in her class. And he is getting invited to birthday parties of his like regular aged peers, Gen Ed peers. This is him passing out his popsicles for his birthday. He used to have a social skills goal, which he is going to work himself out of come his next IEP review, which is really exciting. And here's just a couple more examples of him not shy in front of the class, partaking in their phonics lesson. And this other picture is actually in my room. We invited some friends to play a sight word game, which was also really cool because it was me bringing those kids into his environment too. So again, trying to get rid of like that guest host feeling between our two rooms. So that's my little synopsis of Luke. This is, yeah.
So she made a comment that it's a learning experience for the peers too, and the way that Mrs. Carr's class has just like embraced him and.
Yeah.
It's just been amazing. Those kids have been so nice and have learned so much, and when Luke's not there, they're, where's Luke?
Where's Luke?
Where's
Yeah.
Luke?
Mrs. Carr also is, well, she's just amazing all around, but she did a pre-teaching on autism for her children before Luke joined. It was like the second week of, or second day of school. And she kind of gave them a little bit of background. And I think that that's amazing because then her kids weren't afraid to ask questions. And they were able to put a name with kind of what somebody else was showing, like different characteristics, and it made them comfortable. And just knowing that he was a little different, they're so accepting of him. It's amazing. This is a picture of two students who are, one is mine, one is, well, Miss Betas, you can see her name on her desk. But he gets out of my room for reading comprehension. So he's included in a little bit of a different way. He's going to a multi-age room that has a little bit higher functioning students than with a more challenging curriculum than I teach all day. So some of my kids have modified curriculums. All of her kids are on an adapted curriculum. So he's included not fully into a genital like that. We're trying to build up tolerance to see what we like for the future, what we can get. But he's doing really well challenging himself with his reading, and he is also wearing a tag, getting from place to place. And he used to be an eloper and full of the fire alarms. So we are making like big progress with him. Oh, this is one of my students at the end of a concert. I would love to take credit for getting him to stay on stage the whole entire time, but it was not me. It was the fact that he is obsessed with the kids in his gen ed class that he goes to specials with, and they were all around him. And he got to look at them, see what was happening, be like, oh, I can do this. I did have gummy worms in my pocket, which may have helped. But he did extremely well. And it is because, again, he had these positive peer role models and he's made positive peer relationships as well. I did have some new ones since you saw. This is one of my students, Grayson. These were actually today. He was sitting outside on the bench during recess, getting a break out of his wheelchair with his same age peers. Again, this is an opportunity for them to learn so much more about Grayson as well. And so back to that quote where it's my kids are not, they're always learning something and absorbing something. I truly believe that, but this is such a good opportunity for my students to teach their same age peers things about themselves, whether it's like acceptance or just like helping, going a little bit of the extra mile. It's really nice, like inclusiveness all around, because it affects my students and the general students. I do have one other thing, two actually. I will turn, the volume's kind of on, I was gonna say, I can turn it off, but this is my student that, Mr. Savage was talking about, who is in specials bouncing mini basketball with one of his, with his attendant. He would not leave the classroom last year. Specials were not his thing. Leaving the room wasn't his thing. He this year is leaving the room, going to specials every single day for at least a small duration of time. It's a really good example of inclusion not looking the same for every single kid. It's also a good example of a least restricted environment not looking the same for every single kid. We're working really hard in the classroom on building tolerance, but right now what we're tolerating is specials, walks, playground. We love the playground. Trying new things like going up and down the stairs in the front of the building, which were like a big no-no last year. So his tolerance, like, so we're slowly trying to build it, but him being in specials and bouncing the ball was like, made my year. So, and then, back to my one other student, Grayson, he, is so much more alert and aware this year. I've even had conversations with his, mom about that. We feel like he's so much more upright and aware and looking around, and especially when he's around his peers, he gets so excited. He somehow gets the straps off of his shoes in his wheelchair and he kicks his legs everywhere. He gets so excited. And so this was new this year, which was a big win for us, just coming with awareness. Grayson, for the first time, is moving himself by himself in his wheelchair, which is amazing. We are doing a lot of circles right now because we're only using our right arm, but we are working on the left. And this is something that I think for him definitely comes with maturity. But again, he has so many more opportunities just being out of the classroom more. His attendant is really amazing getting him out when he's in his stander, walking around the building. He pops into classrooms and says hello. I've had so many teachers tell me, specials teachers especially, that they can't believe how much they see him now, which I think is like so amazing. And so, you know, I can't speak for as much as how it's going for all of the gen ed teachers. I mean, from the outside, it's going amazing wise, but teaching kids with multiple disabilities is not easy, and it's not easy to look and always presume competence, but I think so far our staff has done a really good job, and it's obviously been a really big change in my students' lives, which is the most important thing I could ask for, so that's it.
That's exciting stuff. Exciting. Just wanted to give a little update on our middle of the year benchmark testing, that we completed back in January. So the BOI stands for beginning of year, MOI is middle of the year. And so this is our percentage of students who are reading at or above grade level. So you can see every grade has made improvements. Kindergarten jump, that's crazy, 33% came in reading on grade level. We're at 75%. They just did some progress monitoring this week, and we're probably in the 80s, if not 90s, of kids reading on grade level. As a school, we went up from 54% on grade level to 70% at or above grade level. So we implemented this year Common Time, which last year when I was presenting our first grade team, they were kind of the ones who spearheaded it, and they talked about how it worked for them, but we implemented it school-wide. And it's had such a nice impact, not only on our kids who are below grade level, but now some of our higher level kids are getting enrichment opportunities that they wouldn't have normally gotten before, so. Things are going good, academic wise there. Along the same lines, we offer third grade tutoring, every February and March to get them ready for the third grade fall or spring OST. So we offer it in English and language arts and math. In the fall, we had 56 students who were not proficient on the fall OST. And of those, we invited all 56 to come to tutoring. Of those 56, 26 are going, which it might not seem like a lot, but it's a really good number to have. It also kind of shows you kind of a battle we fight that, you know, this is a free opportunity and a lot of our parents just won't take advantage of it. English is 2 days a week, math is 2 days a week. They're there for an hour and it goes for a total of 10 sessions. In math, we asked for the teachers to recommend kids because they don't take a fall math OST. And of the 26 that were recommended, 12 are participating. We give them snacks, they work with their teachers, and it's had a pretty good impact on their spring scores. So we're hopeful when we test here in 2 weeks that we'll see really good results. This year, this is Brew, I think alluded to it last time at the December meeting, but she's been amazing getting us partnerships with a lot of these outside organizations. And Child Guidance and Family Solutions is one of them. And so we have been able to use them for 2 programs for our kids. In 4th grade, they get the 2 Good for Drugs program. And they have that at the middle school. I think they have it at the high school too, maybe. Different variations. Talks about life skills, everything like that. And then the 2nd grade is going through what's called the Incredible Years program. This was kind of presented to us mid-year. It's more geared towards kindergarten age, but our 2nd grade is very active, challenging grade. So we thought it would be very helpful to have them there. Child Guidance comes every Wednesday, meets with every class for 45 minutes. Just again, life skills and everything like that. So it's been great to have these partnerships. Brew's been amazing setting them up. And Child Guidance is already reaching out about, okay, what are we gonna do next year? So it's been really nice to have them, just, you know, another voice for the kids to hear. We preach journey of a comment. It's always nice for them to hear from somebody else too. This was fun. Last Friday, we had the Mac Chimera Irish dancers come in. One of our first graders, Callan, is right here, is part of the Mac Chimera dance troupe. And so it's probably before Christmas, her mom came in and said, hey, you know, every St. Patrick's Day, we always tour schools, and why don't we tour here? And I said, I don't know, let's do it. So we set that up, so they came Friday. They started at Nolly Friday morning. They came to us, then they went to Green for 6 shows. And then I think they had one more maybe at Lake. And it was amazing. The little kids were obviously super cute, and this is Callan's class that was posing with her. They all gave her hugs afterwards, but some of the older kids in that dance troupe were national champions and go to Ireland and do the Irish dancing, and they were doing it on our stage. Our kids were just like amazing. Every kid was trying it at recess. It was so funny. But the one kid that was a national champion, like, his leg kick was pretty much vertical. And it was crazy. Like I flew up to my waist and all the way up there. But it was really fun. The kids loved it. Nice little way to get us excited for St. Patrick's Day. Last night, we held our 2nd annual kindergarten registration night, the Future Comet Carnival. It's kind of our way to try to get kids registered early so that we have a better idea of how many kindergartners are going to be coming. Last year, we had a good turnout, and then 50 more kids registered in August. And so, you know, it's still a fun event. We wanted to get our resident people in, see the building. We didn't have a great turnout. We probably had about 30 families come. But, you know, spreading the word, getting them registered. So we had planned good for that. This was my favorite station. This is the kindergarten signing station. They sign a little certificate welcoming them, the class of 2038. Then you take it home. We have a big pencil that they can pose for pictures with. The middle school student council, I was reaching out for volunteers. I asked the high school, they couldn't get very many because of spring sports. So I reached out to Mrs. Burns, and she had probably like 20 kids there volunteering, and they were so amazing. She said, I think my kids had more fun than the incoming kindergartners. So we let them have popcorn and play the carnival games and everything, but it was a very nice partnership, and we were very lucky to have them there helping us out. I also wanted to spotlight our brand new teachers this year, because as you know, we hired a lot, and they have been absolutely amazing. I think we hit the jackpot hiring wise, and she knows she's probably with mom.
Yeah.
And every single one of them has just been absolutely amazing and has come in and taught like they've been teaching forever. They've brought a very fun energy to the building. They're, you know, the TikTok generation. They make TikToks and sometimes they con me into being in them, but it's really fun. The activities that they do. Mrs. Gibson is always doing stuff related to her CKLA knowledge. She had in the medical unit or the human body unit, she invited some people in that she knew that were in the medical profession, and every kid got scrubs and was doing all sorts of different medical things. Ms. Helms, the art teacher, she is amazingly talented. This is a kindergartner who made that picture. So this is obviously more advanced, so 4th grader in the art club. And just the stuff that she has been able to have these kids do, it's amazing. This is in Miss Ganser's class. Again, they have a human body unit in their knowledge lessons too. So she invited some outside friends in to present. Excuse me. But they're fun, they're energetic. Miss Jet on Monday and Miss Johnson, the leprechaun came and stole all their chairs. So she had her kids on a scavenger hunt around the building, with clues, and they were talking about it all day. They're still talking about where their chairs were, the leprechaun and everything. So we definitely hit the nail on the head. Everybody, as far as I know, is returning. We even had some people turn down job offers to stay with us just because they love teaching here and the friendships that they've made. So we're very, very lucky, and I just wanted to highlight that. Then my last little bit, this is Rep Mel organized a staff scavenger hunt. This is a little get to know view building activity that she does every year. And staff members that wanted to participate gave a clue about themselves that people wouldn't know, something, no, that's something that people wouldn't know. And it was a way to encourage everybody to get to know each other more by having conversations to figure out who the clues were about. So I think we had about 30 people participate. I narrowed it down to 5 of the clues, so we could play a little game to see who you think are these people. So Miss Johnson, me, Miss Jet, Mrs. Lawrence, and Mrs. Richland, these are the ones that I picked. 5 different clues. First one, my son and dog were in a video on an episode of America's Funniest Home Videos. Somebody was a model when they were a baby. Somebody is a former Guinness World Record holder. Somebody has a motorcycle that they love to ride when it's nice out. Somebody has been over 375 concerts, been backstage at multiple shows, and has sang with a few performers during some of the shows. So, any guesses as to who any of these might be?
I'm gonna say Miss Lawrence has the motorcycle.
As long as I have the motorcycle, that's Mr. Fitzgerald.
I'm gonna say you were the model,
I'm
definitely.
the model. That's flattering.
Yeah.
That's not true.
I'd say Miss Jet was the Guinness World Record holder.
So that's just fun. We did this for about 2 weeks. People went around conversating. And then Mrs. Redmond had a little social after in her room with snacks and a big reveal. And every single thing that was revealed, it's like, oh my God, like I didn't even know. So here's our big reveal. My son and dog were in a video on America's Funniest Home Videos with Mrs. Richlick.
Oh.
This is video. Did you turn the sound off this program?
I'm sorry, yeah, I did. You didn't, I was like talking. I want everybody to hear me.
No, really, it's not for us. Miss Jet was the model when she was a baby. She was a model for some grocery stores. I was a former Guinness World Record holder. In college, I worked for the Cavs at a marketing company, and we held the world record for most people wearing wigs at the same time.
Oh.
Yes, one of the promotion nights that they had, everyone brown got wigs, and we had another one. I couldn't find a picture. It was most people wearing Snuggies at the same time. Those, I think both of them have been broken, but it was fun. That's me in the back. Not my blonde hair. Ms. Johnson has the motorcycle. She loves to ride when it's nice out. And then that leaves Mrs. Lawrence, who has been to over 375 concerts. This is actually her singing with, let me get the sound. Yeah. Singing with Steven Tyler. But this is not she said this, she sang with him multiple times at different concerts. But some of her notable shows, Michael Jackson, U2, Tina Turner, Aerosmith's her favorite. She goes to a lot of them with her mom. They've been to so many of these. It's really, didn't know that about her. So it was really fun for us to get to know each other a little more doing all of that. So I appreciate Mrs. Redfall for putting that on. And just to wrap up some upcoming dates, tomorrow we have our March kindergarten, first grade, and second grade PBIS assembly with Mrs. Ravenel. And then we have our first grade music program. If you're bored tomorrow night and want to see some really cute program about animals, They have been working very hard, and I think Mrs. Galemo is worried because they have a long rehearsal tomorrow, because today's rehearsal is not up to her standards. But they're in first grade, that's what I tell her. It'll be cute no matter what. Then on Friday, we have our third and fourth grade PBS assembly, and they're gonna perform, the first grade is gonna do their program for the school at 2 o'clock, so anybody's welcome to come if you don't wanna come tomorrow night. And then when we return from spring break, we have our Share the Fair Coin Wars. This is put on by Mrs. Wolf. A little fundraiser for our book fair, our spring book fair, so that every kid is able to purchase a book at the book fair. And then on April 10th, Miss Helms is putting on our art show, our annual art show. She has already started setting up for that. It's probably our most attended event at CES. We might get more people there than we do at open house, which is crazy, but it's just, she'll have art all over the school. And the talent that is there already at this age is amazing. That is all I have. Well, I would have go super long like last time, so I appreciate the opportunity to share a little about what's been going on at Coventry Elementary School. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Before we go on, I just want to second what Mr. Savage shared. I think you saw it with Mrs. Bracco there. The energy that our first and second year teachers have brought, not only to the building, but just to all of us. You can't help but be around them and be excited. And it's just contagious what they brought to our district, and we're happy to have all of them. And those are all of the items under district updates.
Thank you. Citizen participation? Anyone? Board of Education comments?
I watch these things. See, being a high school teacher, I have a hard time getting into it with the little kids and all that kind of stuff. I don't know how you guys do it. I bless your hearts and how you do those things. It's good. What is the date of your art show?
April 10th,
So that's a big attendance.
yes.
Super
The
cool.
Troublemakers are performing, which is our fourth grade show choir. They'll be performing there too.
Good. That's good. Yeah, I enjoy listening to everything, and I like your testing field. You're increasing reading and you're doing your math tutors and your your language arts tutors and stuff. Where we go. Get them ready.
Yep.
4 and 5.
Yeah, so I just have one super quick thing, and maybe you haven't even an update, Mr. Savage, but Ms. Elgin was here a couple of months ago about the comic cruisers and that little running program.
Yeah.
She just mentioned that last week that some of those kids have already run a marathon, several of them. So
Yeah, and Nicole, the cross-country coach, she gave us the information for all of our members of the Comic Cruisers to do the Clock Tower 5K for free. So that's going home with them tomorrow. They can register. I'd say of the 50-ish kids we have, maybe 15 run the time that they're there, but the other ones are walking and social.
yeah, but that's still the goal, right? I mean, they're out there
Yeah.
doing something, they're together, it's cool.
Yeah,
You know, and Ms. Rethmel too, I mean, it's just awesome.
Yeah.
And from what I heard too, like, for the clock tower run, like some of the teachers, more of the teachers now, I know some did it last year too.
Yeah.
But well, we did it last
Yeah.
year, but are gonna be doing it to walk, are you, you doing it to walk with some of the kids or to run with the kids, which is awesome too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it just sounds really cool.
So
Yeah, so that's still going on. There's still like a lot of involvement. I just think that's awesome,
include.
for sure.
Thank you for your presentation. It's fantastic. I love to see everybody. This warms my heart. Also special thanks to Mr. Clark. He's just been a great role model for our young guys and how to handle himself. I've never seen him lose his cool. He always seems to be very even. And so thank you. And couple things. Band and choir both went to OMEA last Friday night, and both of them, the large group symphonic band got a 1, which is fantastic. And they'll go on to state May something, May 10th,
I think it's
I think ish, whatever. We'll figure that out. And then, the, large group that went with the choir also got a one, which was really fantastic. And, a lot of those kids had never been before because it was a combination of a couple of different choirs all put together. So special thanks to them. And our kids just show up. They are professional. I'm so proud of them every time we go and we watch them, do, perform. Also, the Taste of Coventry is coming up on the 22nd of April. If you guys are interested in new tickets, you can contact me, you can contact school and get tickets to go to the Taste of Coventry. Super fun night, come hungry, leave full, and win some prizes. And all the money for Taste of Coventry, it goes to the Coventry Schools Foundation, which then gives students for senior students scholarships. Usually they give 4 or 5 or 6 of them, depending on their budget. And then also it's teacher grants. That is a big deal. And every year they give all the money that we raise goes back to our teachers, between, up to $1,000 to different projects that's in their classroom. Very cool. Good event.
All right. Yeah, thank you guys for the presentation. Looks like great stuff happening. I did see a flyer come home with Ellie. That was a fundraiser for Lily memorial. So is that school?
Yeah, some of our fourth graders wanted a way to remember Lily, who passed away back in the fall. And so through Mrs. Rathmel and our CCP, they've organized a little fundraiser to purchase a memorial item for the playground. We don't know what that's going to be because it's dependent on how much money is raised. But Mrs. Rathmel has been able to be in contact with Lily's parents and kind of work with them to figure something out to remember her out there by.
That's great. Thanks. That's all I have.
I just wanted to mention it's something that's passed, but the Booster Club did a really nice job on their fundraiser the other night on their raffle. And I saw Dan there, but you didn't win big, did you? Did you win a big prize? No. But anyways, it was a wonderful dinner at Chenoweth, and I don't know how much money they raised, but they worked really hard to get things, and it was a first-class event. Mr. Fisk, you were there. Did you win lots of money?
Nothing.
Oh, sorry.
Have that kind of luck.
But anyways, it was a really nice time. Nice to be with people outside of meetings, and the people there, the parents there worked really, really hard. So just wanted to comment on that, but I thought they did a great job and appreciate their hard work. But that's it.
All right, so this is the point in the meeting where you can stay, or you can leave. You're okay to do either of those things. We're gonna go on to our, no, there's no, yeah.
Thank you, guys.
And we will,
Thank you.
thanks.
Keep myself home. Thank you.
Ms. McGraw, can I go back out of order? I forgot to mention that you had asked for an update on the projects. So I put in each of your seats the projects that we've kind of budgeted out over the next few fiscal years. Lisa put this together. I think it's a great way of seeing color-coded the different projects that we're trying to accomplish in this fiscal year and next fiscal year, and the ones that we're hoping that the budget will support in future fiscal years. So I just gave that to you as just an update on where we're at. A lot of these you've already approved or you're already aware of for this year. But just to give you an idea of some of the things coming up in the future that we'd like to get done.
Thank you so much.
So I apologize for being kind of out of order. I should have done that during district updates. So under superintendent recommendations, number 1, certified personnel. A1, rescind the coaching supplemental. It's recommended the board rescind the following coaching supplemental contract approved at February 19th, 2025 Board of Education meeting. And number 2, supplemental coaching contracts for 24-25. It's recommended the board grant and or reissue the following supplemental coaching contract for the 24-25 school year. Non-staff contracts are contingent upon receipt of a clear record of the required background check. And this change is occurring is Mr. Long there wanted to find a way to get more people involved in the program. So he was willing to split his supplemental so that we could get more people involved. Number three, supplemental coaching contract 25-26. It's recommended the board grant or reissue the following supplemental coaching contracts for the 24-25 school year. Non-staff contracts are contingent upon receipt of a clear record of the required background check. And we're excited to have Mrs. Fuller joining us. She's a Coventry alum and attends a lot of events. I see her all the time. So it's great to have her joining our coaching staff. Number four is extended school year ESY speech. It's recommended the board employ the following speech pathologist for the 2025 extended school year speech services up to 60 hours at the corresponding hourly rate during the summer months of June and July. And those are all of the items under certified personnel.
Is there a motion to accept these recommendations?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Yep. Call the roll.
Davis.
Yes.
Mr. Bowser.
Yes.
Costello.
Yes.
Pat.
Yes,
McCollum.
Yes.
Number two, classified personnel recommendations. Number one, resignation. It's recommended the board accept the resignation of the following employee for the position indicated, and that's Mr. Spindler. Number two, employment. It's recommended the board employ the following for the positions indicated contingent upon receipt of a clear record of required background check and drug screening. And that's Ms. Thacker as our 2.5-hour lunch recess assistant at the elementary school. And that's effective March 10th. Number three is temporary summer clerical help. It's recommended the board employ the following individual for temporary summer clerical position effective 6/16/25. And that's Miss Bailey, who previously this year had filled in for Tia while she was out. Number four is temporary seasonal help. It's recommended the board employ the following individuals for temporary seasonal help positions effective June 2nd, 2025. And these are laid out as we made a little modification to our program from last year where we were only hiring 6 individuals. But there are 3 individuals that are going to do job sharing, and that's all broken out to show that it will still be the same total amount of 6 people each pay period.
How long is that? How long is that for?
They run right up until about the time school starts. Is that right, Ms. Bowles? Is that how long you budgeted until right until school starts? And those are all of the items under classified personnel.
Is there a motion to approve these recommendations? No second. Any discussion?
Yeah, so just following up on the temporary seasonal help again. So last year, I remember like there was kind of a little fiasco where like all of a sudden just everybody was just gone. So that's like been addressed.
Yeah, this will make sure we don't expend the budget prior to the end of the summer by
So that's
sticking
awesome.
to
Yeah,
these
that was
posts.
kind of crazy last year. So that's great. And then like, I'm putting you on the spot, but I just with the. So if you don't have the information, I get it. But the busing situation, this is just reminding me again, like, what is the current status of like busing and the bus drivers and all?
So we're extremely low on bus drivers. We have one substitute, which is Joe, our mechanic. We ran into a situation where we were having a very difficult time combining a route that had opened up recently. And Mrs. Linda Danko, who is retired and has been helping us basically since her retirement. She stepped in to help the route that we couldn't condense because of where it went. But I will say our staff is, they're really getting worked hard. I'm really concerned about just their mental well-being because we're stretching them so thin.
Is Joe still like, excuse me, driving like every day pretty much?
Anytime somebody calls off, he has to drive because he's our only sub.
So that's pretty much.
Well, thankfully, our bus drivers are super committed. And in spite of even some of their health issues they may have, they still are coming to work every day because they know how much we really need them.
So without Stanko, then we'd really be in trouble.
We would, yeah, Joe would have to drive every day. And if one person called off, we couldn't cover all of our routes.
All right,
Yeah, so we're very thankful that Stanko came back.
what a crazy problem. I mean, that's everywhere. You know?
Yeah, it's not unique to us.
No, I know, but yes, it's nice.
Prior to Mrs. Danko coming in, Mrs. Smith, our transportation director, called every area school to just see if we could borrow somebody just to the end of the year, just temporarily. And we had a lead on a local school, but that person had another job that they did during the day. So they declined, but we called everyone just to see if anybody would help us out. Everybody's in the same boat.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Paula?
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Mr. Bowser.
Yes.
Hostetler.
Yes.
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 Number 3, other business items, recommendations. Number 1, a contract with LLA Therapy. It's recommended the board approve the contract with LLA Therapy for a 2025 ESY program for students with an IEP that is approved for ESY called Stars and Stripes. The cost is $395 per week per student for up to 6 weeks per student. If a student needs one-on-one support, the cost will be an additional $205 per week. The period of ESY is June 17th, 2025 to August 7th, 2025. And just a reminder, I'd mentioned ESY on a previous one. That's extended school year. So those are students on an IEP who the IEP team feels if there was a lap in their instruction for the months of the summer, the child would regress academically. So that's the determining factor, what students qualify and which ones don't. Number 2 is a contract addendum with TES. It's recommended the board approve the contract addendum with TES for up to an additional 30 hours to be contracted with St. Francis de Sales for psychological services. The school psychological services will include completing initial evaluations and reevaluations for special education, as well as holding meetings to gain consent for evaluations and review results with the parents and team. The hourly rate for the school psychologist will be $97, and this is paid with non-public portion of fiscal year 25 IDEA funds. Number 3 is a contract with Jostens. It's recommended the board approve a 2-year contract with Jostens to be our exclusive yearbook provider for Coventry High School. Number 4 is a contract with Parent Square. It's recommended the board approve a service agreement with Parent Square for classroom management software an additional cost of $6,457.50 from September 16th, 25 through 9/15/26. And as the note states, this is replacing a very highly used program in our district called Remind. The principals use it, the teachers use it, our coaches use it to communicate with the community and their athletes and their teachers and students. We've had an introductory presentation by Parent Square. It has a lot of applications with it. And it appears as though it'll be much more better communication tool than we're losing with Remind. Mr. Savage, you sat through that.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a guinea pig, whatever.
Mr. Savage was very excited, so he jumped to be the initial person to implement it. So we'll see how it goes for him. Number 5, service plan with Summit Educational Service Center. It's recommended the board approve the service plan agreement with the Summit Educational Service Center for the 25-26 school year. And I don't have the exact number, but it was a little over $3,000 increase for the service plan compared to last year. Number 6 is a deletion of inventory operations department. It's recommended the board approve the following deletion of inventory from the operations department, and that's as listed. And number 7 is accept donations. It's recommended the board accept the following donation, which was a donation for this school year in the amount of $180. And it was just completely anonymous. The person just donated the money and asked that we use it to support the kids. Very nice. We're very appreciative of that. And those are all of the items under other business.
Is there a motion to approve these recommendations?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
I do have a couple of questions again, and maybe the first one, I'm not sure if it's for George or Lisa. But about the idea, and all those funds. I should know this by now, but I can't remember. Is that like reimbursable? Like, how does that work? Do we have the money, like,
I'll defer to Mrs. Blau on that one.
I'm sorry. Not you.
like the IDP funds and that kind of stuff? Do we spend it and then we request reimbursement for those?
Yes.
Okay, and so far, has that been going, have we even done anything the last few months to request reimbursement?
Oh, yeah, we do it twice.
And there's been, okay, so, and there's been no problems or no, like, what, nothing, so.
It's an IDEA, correct?
Yeah, and
Federal
like the whole,
grant.
yeah, the whole
Federal
federal grant program, yeah.
Yes.
So far, we just operations is normal. Awesome. And then the other one is about, I'm just asking because of the bus, you know, that's on the list. And not necessarily right now, but maybe like in the next, sometime in the near future, in the next few months. If you get an update on like the, kind of the bus program and like the replacement program and like, you know, now we're getting rid of this old beat up one, you know, but we're getting, you know, to that place where we're gonna have to start doing something, I think, you know, right, to start swapping things out or whatever, so. Anyways, you could just give us an update on kind of the status and what the plan is going forward from here. Thank you, yeah.
On the Parent Square switch from Remind, is it mostly functionality, the reason for the switch, or is it cost? I don't know how much Remind costs at all.
It was being phased out by our A site. Was that what it was? Was it NeoNet moving away?
It was either that or the Senate bill,
Yeah, it was,
I would say.
I think it was a mutual, there was a Senate bill that was passed last summer. That really protects the data of any students, and this is a data intensive application. So I agree with Mr. Savage. I believe it was NeoNet because of that Senate bill change and Remind's policies not matching the requirements. We had to find a new provider. But this seems to be a positive switch if we can make the most use of the different abilities of this program.
Gotcha, thanks.
For number 5, the service plan for the Summit Educational Service Center, can you amend that and add the documentation for that? So that you weren't sure how much it costs, but
You want the,
oh, it's right here. I see. Just add the cost in there.
I can, Mrs. Blau sent that to me this afternoon and you don't remember offhand what that was, do you, Mrs. Blau?
795 per day.
The final cost to the district will be $128,427.71.
Anybody else? Questions? Terry?
No.
Okay. Call the roll.
Davis.
Yes.
Bowser.
Yes.
Hostetler.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
For the treasurer's recommendation, we have item 1, it is recommended that the board approve and place on file the February 2025 financial report and reconciliation per exhibit T1. Item 2 is recommended that the board approve the POs over 5,000 per exhibit T2. Item 3, it is recommended that the board approve the contract for the district to participate in Shakely's group retrospective rating program for workers' compensation during the annual year of 2026 per exhibit T3. And item 4, it is recommended that the board approve the then and now request associated with the purchase order outlined in accordance with exhibit T4.
Is there a motion to approve these recommendations?
Second.
Any discussion?
I do have a couple more questions. Sorry, I didn't ask these like earlier, but I just. But so the goose doctors, I think it's great. I'm really glad to see that on there. But it just says the stadium and the middle school courtyard, but the track, the new track that looks so beautiful when it was done, is literally like just covered with goose. So is there a way to do something also, at least at the practice field around the track to just kind of preemptively like reduce that at least?
I'll have Mrs. Kendrick call.
Or at least go check it out, or Gary can check it out, but yeah, I've been running there and it's like, It's just crazy. I mean, it's such a nice, looks so nice. And it's- still nobody's gonna break their ankle on it, but you know, it's still. Yeah, it is. And then the HVAC repairs, those heat exchangers, are those two that went out, or is this just kind of like, are we just recycling through?
Those are two that went out.
Okay.
And they made sense to fix, Gary's perspective, made sense to fix them rather than look at trying to replace them.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, because that, again, you know, that is just a huge
Liability.
boulder just hanging over us, all those units. And someday it's just gonna drop. So. Okay, just.
So Mr. Olson's really trying to get as much life out, because he agreed, you know, we all agree that that is a huge liability financially. So he's trying to do everything he can to make sure the maintenance stays up on him, that the belts, everything is, we get as much life as we can.
That's great. Thank you.
Anyone else? Oh, Pablo?
Yes.
Mr. Bowser.
Yes.
Mr. Hostetler.
Yes.
Pam.
Yes,
Yes. The next section is board recommendations, but we're gonna table that at this moment. Is that all I need to say?
Yes,
Is there a vote? Is there a motion to say that? Is there a motion to table?
Second.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Mr. Bowser.
Yes.
Mr. Hostetler.
Yes.
Pam.
yes,
Yes. So the next, we've completed our meeting here and we will be going into executive session. Executive session is for the purpose of deliberations only. No action will be taken during an executive session. Reason for this meeting may include
5 matters.
matters required to be kept confidential by federal law or rules or state statutes. Is there a motion to enter into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Yes.
Mr. Bowser.
Yes.
Hostetler.
Yes.
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 And there'll be no action after.
And there will be no action after that.
No.